You know, I started this podcast sometime early this year, and it has been 8-9 months, and I am still doing this podcast. You can't do something like this close to a year on a constant basis without learning certain things. You must learn, and you will have to learn. This podcast has taught me some valuable lessons, and I would want to share those lessons with you, my brother, as we usher ourselves into 2026. This is my reflection on 23 episodes of Human Bound Podcast. Let's do this. Hi, salam alaikum. You are about to listen to Human Bound Podcast. This is the voice of your brother and host, Ali Hamban. Well, would you believe it? 2025 is just bidding us goodbye. It is gone, and we are about to step into 2026. And that, my friend, is going to be by the will of God. If Allah so grants us the life, we will step into 2026. What I pray is that 2026 smiles upon us more than 2025 did. I pray we see more prosperity, more happiness, more joy, more progress in our lives in 2026. Now, here are the lessons that I learned. First, never compare your beginnings with the endings of people. Never compare your seed with the fruits of people. You know how you always want to do something, but then you keep procrastinating. You keep saying, oh, I will do it tomorrow. Oh, I'm not ready yet. Oh, I need to put together these gadgets. I need to buy this. I need to buy that. You see, usually we compare our beginnings with the end of certain people without really thinking about how those people began. That is one thing that is holding many of us back. Whenever we want to start something, we compare the way we begin with the way people who have begun like 10 years, 5 years ago, and we want to compare our beginning with their 5 years. I mean, that is not fair. People always begin somewhere. And if we would want to be fair to ourselves, and if we really want to progress in whatever we want to do, we really want to compare our beginnings with the beginnings of the people we look up to, people who have already been in the industry for a very long time. You know, some people began with like nothing, but they have grown to become the people we aspire to be today. So if we want to start something, podcast, for example, really we want to look at how they began. Personally, that is what I do. Whenever I want to make someone as a point of reference, whenever I want to look up to someone in the industry, someone who is doing well, I look at his earlier videos. I look at his videos, the beginning. So, for example, when I started, sometimes I would go to look at the earlier videos of Mr. Beast, the videos he started when he was a nobody. That was his beginning. And I would get to appreciate what he is enjoying today, because I would know how this Rome of Mr. Beast wasn't built in a day. It took him decades of struggle and constant production. And I looked at the earlier videos of Stephen Bartlett, for example, who has got this massive podcast, the Diary of the CEO, massive podcast. And we go how did he do it? Well, the secret is, go and check out his beginning. I mean, that is what we don't do most of the times. Usually when we want to start something, we get overwhelmed by the way people are doing now. So much that we don't give ourselves the chance, the time to go back, to look at how they began, so that we compare our beginnings with their ending. We compare our seed with their fruit. Some people are actually enjoying the fruit of their labor. And many of us would now want to compare our seed with their fruit. I mean, is that fair? That is not getting us anywhere. And that is why many people today would not start anything. Many people come to me and they go Lehambal, I want to start sending messages across. I want to start posting some messages online. What should I do? And you know what? The funny thing is, usually when people ask you, what should I do? What they are really asking for is, what camera should I buy? What microphone? Okay, what lighting settings? They are looking at the gadgets, they are looking at the equipment. That's what people do because they want to have like a good lighting, a good setup. Fine, all that is good, all that is necessary. Not necessary, but it is a good thing for production. But here is a question: what use is good equipment to a person who cannot actually produce something? What use is a microphone to a goat or a sheep or a chicken? Nothing. You will get these high definition microphones, cameras, lightings, and then you have no message, and then you have no brand, and then you have nothing. You have no niche. You have nothing. And when people gather all these things, I know many people who have procured a lot of gadgets. They started and then they go like, I am not getting the views. I'm not getting the attractions. And how many videos did you post? I posted like 3 videos already and I struggled to produce them and nobody cares. So I'm quitting. Some people sell their gadgets. They quit. Why? Because they are not getting the traction they expect to get. So this is just the first thing I want us to think about. Don't compare your beginning with the ending of certain people. Do not compare your seed with the fruit of people. Always compare your beginnings with the beginnings of people. What that does to you is to give you the inspiration, is to give you that mindset that it shall be well. That is the most important lesson that I have learned doing this podcast. Number 2, manage your expectations. You see, many of us, when we begin new stuff, when we begin a podcast, when we begin a YouTube channel or anything, we expect to grow in a matter of few weeks, few postings. Like, I have posted 3 episodes and I am not getting any views. I'm not getting any downloads. I'm not getting any kind of listeners or followers. We have these high expectations whenever we want to start something. So when you start a podcast, you expect to have this high growth in 2 episodes, 3 episodes. Here is what I learned. Usually we get punished by our own expectations. Our own expectations are the sources of our disappointment and punishment and pain. Think about it. Why do you feel pain when you get heartbroken in a relationship? I mean, we get into a relationship and we go like we have high expectation in this relationship. We did not expect this person to break our hearts. I mean, of all people, this is the last person I would expect to break my heart. Of all people, you are the last person I expect to do this to me. Why did you do this to me? And we get heartbroken. So you see, the higher your expectations, the more painful it is. So that our main sources of pain are our expectations. Here is the thing. Why don't you try to manage your expectations? Like, keep your expectations on an average level and keep working with it. This is what I always tell people. Many people come to me and they go like, I want to do this. I want to start a podcast. I want to start a YouTube channel. I want to start a TikTok channel. I want to start this. One of the things I always tell people is manage your expectations. Do not expect to become that big shot in a matter of few days, in a matter of few weeks, not even in a matter of few years. You don't know. You see, when you manage your expectations, then you know how to keep pace with working. If you don't, you are going to get disappointed because this thing takes time. Branding takes time to build. Lesson 3, start stupid and grow wise along the way. I mean, one of the things that we do that makes us procrastinate things is to always want to get fully ready. We want to be the wisest as we begin. We want to have everything. We want to know everything. We want to be fully equipped before we start. Now, that is a big mistake. This is the reason why many people never start anything, because they always want to start. They always want to know everything beforehand. It never happens. Whatever you do, however well prepared you think you are, if you start today, in your third, fourth, fifth episode, you would look back at your first episode and go like, that was stupid. That was poorly made. I didn't do it right. You see, you cannot get it right the first time. There is always something to learn along the way. And the only way to learn these things is to start and learn on the field. Learning on the field would be the best way you could learn. So that when you start a podcast or when you start your channel or anything, start stupid. Just start, know what you want, know your direction. Knowing your direction is the most important thing. But then make up your mind that I am going to learn along the way. I am going to make my next episode better than my first episode, so that every episode would have this incremental learning curve on it. You mean, so that you would be growing with episodes, you would grow with every single video that you make. That is what I have learned. I would look back at my first episode and go like, okay, that is good, but I think now I am getting it. Now I have more resources to buy the gadgets that I need. Now I have more resources to learn from. Now I have learned one or two things. I have set my pace, all because you started stupid and you gather wisdom along the way. If you want to become wise before you begin, my brother, you are not going to do anything. The simple rule is start stupid and gather wisdom along the way. That is the only way. But start and then learn. That is how you become wise, and that is how you perfect your craft. Number 4, consistency. Be consistent. Remember I said you have to lower your expectations. You have to be patient. But you see, you don't just have to be patient. You don't just have to lower your expectations. You will have to be consistent. You have to have certain level of consistency in your production, in whatever you do. So if you set a pace that I am going to make 1 episode every single week, you have to be consistent with it. Do not miss a week. When you miss a week, you have to feel like you have failed yourself on doing something. You have to make it hurt. You have to make it feel as if you have skipped something very important in your life. But then keep up the consistency pace. You have to be consistent. Now, here is the painful thing about all this. When you start new, you are not having the returns or the responses or the tractions that you expect to get or that you want to get. Imagine this. You have started a podcast and you don't have any followers. That's how everybody begins. You start with 0 followers, with 0 listeners. You are now growing these listeners. And when you are working on YouTube, you are posting your podcast episodes on YouTube, and you are posting some on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and the rest. And you are not having any response. You don't have many people listening to you. And your YouTube channel, 0. No one is on there. That is what discourages a lot of people. And on top of that, you would make a production that takes you hours, days, weeks to make. And you produce and you upload it on YouTube. First episode, no view at all. Second episode, 1 view. Third episode, 1 view. Now, this is a work that you spend a lot of energy to produce. And when you don't get these returns and responses, you tend to get discouraged. That is what it means to be consistent and manage your expectations. When you manage your expectations and you go like, okay, I'm starting this podcast. I don't expect people to listen to it. I expect to keep up the good work and learn along the way till I become worthy of people's attention. Now, here's the thing. Many people don't get it. Many of us, at least, I wouldn't take myself out of it. We don't get it. We think the moment we start making some content, people should listen. People should come to that page and subscribe. No, nobody owes you that. Nobody owes you that time to listen to you. You need to earn it. When people listen to you, do you realize it's a huge privilege? Do you realize it's a huge honor that a person has taken out of his precious time to listen to what you have to say? That is a great honor. I mean, when you are selfish with these things and you think you just make any content and people should and people must listen to you, no, you are not being fair to yourself. Instead, do this. Now, I think the best way to do it is to make something valuable. After all, this world is a trade. We always trade time for value. And if you don't make anything valuable, why should people trade their time to listen to you? So you see, when you make any content at all, and people do not listen to it, or they do not consume your content, well, they don't owe you that time to listen to it. But if they find it valuable and they feel like there is some value they derive out of what you are making, then that is the transaction of life. It means you are providing them value in exchange for their time. I think that is the best way to go with life. Life is a trade. We trade things for more valuable things. But you see, when you expect that the moment you make a content, then people must come to consume your content, you are not being fair to yourself. You are not thinking clearly. Make content to provide value so that when people come to your page, they get value and they would exchange that value with time. Now, that value creation takes time. It takes consistency, because when you are consistent, then you create legitimacy. You become legitimate. You become authentic. You find your authentic voice. You find your authentic message. And then people would come to you because you feel and you sound authentic. And you give them value. That is the only way. So, it is going to take time. When I started this podcast, I have listened to a lot of professionals. I have listened to a lot of people who have been on the journey. And usually they tell me, do not expect anything. Do it for the love of it. Do it to create value. But do not expect any growth, at least for the next 3-4 years. But never miss out on value. Never miss out on making good stuff. So guess what I did? I decided to start this podcast with the least expectation, but with the highest intention to make high content and to learn along the way. Guess who benefited along the way? Me. Because you see, in producing these contents, I became like a serious learner. I've always learned. I've always read. But you see, because of the nature of my content, I push myself to read more, to make more research, to think more in things that ordinarily I would just glance through and move on. I benefited more because I think I have to provide value. And to do that, I need to learn, I need to read, I need to research. So this is what I think would get you pushing. If you make it like a value-adding thing that you will have to do to better yourself and to better anyone who might be listening to you, that would help with the consistency. And that consistency would give you that authenticity, and that would make people always come to listen to you. 5. There will be surprises. Surprises. You know, some of the surprises would be good. Some of them would be bad. I happen to meet a lot of good surprises. Don't forget, I told you I started this podcast and I didn't expect to have like any return, any following. So I started a new YouTube channel, fresh channel. I already have a different channel which is doing okay, but I decided for this podcast, I am going to start a new channel, throw myself a challenge to do this. And guess what? I didn't expect that channel to have like even 10 subscribers, at least for the first year, because of the nature of my content. The nature of my content is the podcast is a long format, and people don't usually stay on a long format content. So I thought, why don't I start this podcast for some one person? So that one person would just stay with me. At least that one person might get me to the next person, so that whenever I mount my microphone and camera, I am going to try to speak to one person or two people. That was my intention. That was what I prepared for. And because of that, I would read a lot of articles. I would read a lot of research. I would read books. I would do things. I would do all this and edit and post, expecting that somehow maybe one person or two people might listen to it. And that listening, the long format of the content gives me more joy. And I have been doing this, and I did one episode along the way. Now, this is the surprise I'm telling you about. I made one episode with the normal expectations that, okay, I have put the greatest work I can, but then the one person would show up and listen to it. Oh my God, I woke up in the morning and that video is doing like 2,000 people listening to it. I go like, what? How did it happen? How is it possible that people would listen to a long format, this podcast, this boring podcast? 2,000 people on a new channel. And that really, really surprised me. You see, that is a good surprise, and that actually boosted my channel. A channel that started with just 2 subscribers. And now that single video like shot it to around 100 subscribers. And my mind was blown away. Because you see, I expected to have like 2-3 subscribers at least for the first 1 year or 2 years, to have at least 100 in 2 years because of the nature of the content. But then now I am doing like over 100 subscribers on this podcast alone. And I have got a lot of people listening. And when I post, there is more people listening to the content than people subscribing, which is why if you are listening to me, please do well and subscribe to the channel. I will truly appreciate it. That is the greatest support you can give. But you see, you always have to prepare yourself for surprises. Here is what I value more, which is why I decided to do this podcast. Don't forget, I have different platforms. I have a TikTok platform that is doing millions of views. I have Facebook platforms that is doing just much the same. A lot of people subscribing and following me on Facebook. Like I have about over 80,000 followers. I have over like 600, 700,000 followers on TikTok. And I have a lot of people following and listening to my messages. And I couldn't be more grateful to that. But you see, the nature of TikTok and Facebook and stuff like that, these are short kind of format content. You would get the click, you would get people taking some bits from it. But if you want depth, if you want people to like stay with you and consume you in depth, try YouTube. That's why I tried YouTube. That's why I do YouTube. YouTube is where I post the long format of my videos. And when I have a fraction of people listening to my message on YouTube, it gives me more satisfaction than when I have millions of people listening to it on TikTok and other places. You know why? Because I know people on TikTok, they might have scrolled and they might have just saw it and they scrolled again. But on YouTube, they made the intention to listen. They sat down. They consumed the depth of my message. And that's what gives me more joy. So I love the fact that I started this podcast and I am reaching people that I never imagined I could reach at the moment. And I have learned along the way and I am growing. And And I have learnt along the way. And guess what? The highest return for me is the fact that I am enjoying it. I have made myself a platform wherein I learn and I share thoughts with people who wants to consume those thoughts. So here is the takeaway. Whatever you want to start, do not procrastinate. Do not wait till you are fully ready. Nobody ever gets fully ready. Start stupid and learn to be wise along the way. Do not have these high expectations that you're going to grow too high in a matter of short period of time. Nobody does that. The way you get hurt most is when you have your expectations high. The best punisher in this life is our expectations. So learn to manage your expectations therefore. Never do one thing, and that is to compare your seed with the fruit of people. Never compare your beginning with the end of people. People are cultivating the fruit of your labor. You are only beginning now. Whenever you want to compare your beginning with anything else, compare it with the beginning of the people you want to look up to. Now, when you do this, and when you start, whatever it is that you want to start, close your ears to the naysayers. Close your ears to the people who are waiting for you to trip and say, we told you so. Close your ears to the people who would laugh at you and laugh at your stupidity. And here is what I learned. Whenever we start something new and people laugh at us, it is because we are funny. No, do not get it twisted. When you start something new, you are clueless. You don't know what you are doing. When you start something new, you don't look attractive. You look ridiculous. That is why many people would laugh at you when you start something new. Don't take it personally. Even you, when you look at yourself in some few years to come, you will laugh at yourself. So, do not expect people to find you attractive when you start whatever you want to start anew. Close your ears to those laughter because they will come. If they don't do it in front of you, they will do it behind your back. And if they do that, you are lucky because you won't have to suffer the indignity of their laughter at you. But when you start stupid and you keep learning along the way, you will become wise. And then you would get to laugh at your former self in some years to come. But do not wait till you are all wise before you begin. So I really wish and pray that we have a very fruitful 2026 and the Journey on Human Bound podcast is only getting bigger. I only pray that we have a better life in the years to come. Do not forget, my friend, what is ahead of you is always better and bigger than what is behind you. Whatever you left behind you, understand that what is ahead of you is bigger than what you left behind. The people who casted you out, you have moved on. Understand that the people you shall meet ahead of your life would be much better people than those you left behind. You would hurt yourself if you keep going back to the people Allah saved you from. Sometimes when you get back to what Allah saved you from, you get destroyed by those same things. Whenever Allah saved you from certain things or certain people, do not look back. Move on, for what is ahead of you, my friend, is better than what is behind you. You always have to have the faith that future holds more brightness and light and peace and prosperity than what lied behind you. What is behind you is history, my friend. What is ahead of you is a promise. Do not sacrifice the promise for the history. No one ever does that except the stupid ones. And I know you are not stupid, my friend. You will hold the firm belief that what 2026 holds for you is far better than what you had in 2025. The people would be better. The prospects would be better. The openings would be numerous. The opportunities would come, and the resilience and the power that you would find in your heart will be immeasurable. That is how future is going to be. You just have to have faith that is going to be like that. For people with faith are always the people with strength. Be strong, my friend, and allow Allah to bless you in 2026. May Allah make it happen. And thank you very much for staying with me on Human Bound Podcast. Till next time, my friend. Assalamu alaikum.